Hello friends, how are you? I'm here. I'm Victoria, by the way. Welcome. I'm here to talk to you about the books I've read in the past few months. But first of all, I'm sorry for this. I'm a bit poorly. I've got a cold, and I'll try to speak, and I will spare you the sneezing and the nose blowing. So I made myself a cup of tea. I've got my books here ready to tell you about them, and let's start, shall we? Oh, that was hot. Okay. I still have to tell you about the books I read in late December. Yeah. This, I believe, was the last book I read. It's Instrumental by James Rhodes. I don't know if you know him. He's a pianist, a piano player. I first knew about him on a TV show called Piano Man a few years ago. It was on TV, and the show was really nice because he mixed the piano playing with the storytelling about himself, about famous composers, and it was really interesting the way he mixed all those things together with images of the city he was at the moment, and it caught my eye, and I started following him on Twitter. And then one day I told him, I'm sorry. I told him on Twitter that I'd seen the show, and he replied. Then when I was in London, I bought the book. This is his first book. It's an autobiography, and I have to say honestly, what a life he's had. It's really amazing and touching the way he survived, let's say. From a very early age, he was a victim of abuse at school. I mean rape, not just abuse, rape. During most of his primary school, I think, yes. And then because of that, he had a lot of mental health issues and problems. He was twice, I think, on the verge of killing himself. And I tell you, the story is heartbreaking, but at the same time it's really interesting the way he opens each chapter, telling you about the life of a composer, and to make it real, because we hear about Beethoven or Mozart or Rachmaninoff. I hope I'm saying that okay, and we think of them as geniuses, and they were just a mess like everybody else. And in each chapter he picks a composer and tells you a bit of their life, of the miseries, of their the problems they had to make their music. It's really interesting, and his story is stunning. The way he overcomes this horrible experience like rape, and then he finds music in life, classical music, and he trains to play the piano, and he redeems himself in a way. But he's been struggling with these mental problems for all his life, his mid-40s, I think. And one thing that left me with a bittersweet feeling is that at the end of this book, he's like in a happy moment because he's just married again, and he's happy with his new wife and living a nice, happy life. But now we know that he's no longer with that girl. It's a bit sad because it's like a compendium, a whole story that ends with a happy ending, but now we know that he's struggling again. But if you want to follow him on Twitter, he's really nice, he's funny, he's really talented. And last February he was in Buenos Aires, and I don't live in Buenos Aires, so I couldn't make it. He played for free in a venue, and he signed books at El Ateneo Gran Esplendid, a gorgeous bookshop in Buenos Aires. And this one is the British edition, but if you want to buy it in Spanish, it's available. It's called Instrumental. It's a really simple word because in most languages it's the same. So I really recommend this book. It's really harrowing. It's not a happy book, but he's really honest. He's raw. Instrumental by James Rhodes. Another book I managed to finish because I started it months ago. I don't know, last year. As soon as I bought it, I think I bought it in June, last June, and I started it and I didn't like it. I don't know. I left it and followed with another book, and then I decided I needed to finish it, and I picked it up again and finished it, but I didn't gel with it. I don't know what happened. It's supposed to be comedy gold. Once someone says I couldn't have loved it more, and all I can say is it was so boring. I don't know why, because sorry, I didn't tell you which book it was. It's Man at the Helm by Nina Stevie. I had loved his other book, her other book, Love Nina. I thought this was going to be the same, but this is a novel about three children, the Vogels. There are two girls and a boy. Their parents get divorced when they are young, and the children with the mom go to live in the countryside in a lovely village, and they feel like people in the village are going to judge them, especially their mom, because she's a divorcee. And so they set themselves, the two girls, to find her a boyfriend, or hopefully a husband, a man at the helm. I know I may have read it not in the right moment, because I had already read books told by children, by kids, and I found it a little bit repetitive and boring. I recognized the humor parts, the jokes, but I didn't laugh. I don't know what happened with the book. It just wasn't for me. But I know people that really loved it, so it must be me. And then I'm going to show you one I really loved. It's Why Do Shepherds Need the Bush? I showed this one before. It's a book about the London's underground history of tube station names. As it says on the cover, it's a list of the tube stations, all the tube stations, and how they got their name. It's mostly history, and I really enjoyed it. It's in alphabetical order, and it has some really nice old illustrations. Let me show you. There you go. And they're funny because they show you how the actual place of the current station looked in the 19th century, before there was an underground. And there also are a few other like boxes with more story about funny things that happen, curious events related to the stations, and it's really interesting. It's a short book. You can read it if you want in 1 or 2 days, and it's easy to pick up anytime because they are short paragraphs. Yeah, you can read a bit and leave it and follow the next day. It's a really nice book, and there's nothing more to say about it because it's history about the name of the stations of the London Underground. Another book I really loved and devoured in like 3 days. It's Cortázar por Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires por Cortázar. In English, it'd be Cortázar by Buenos Aires. Buenos Aires by Cortázar. This writer, this Argentinian writer, lived in Buenos Aires, in the province and in Buenos Aires until his 30s, I think, if I'm not mistaken. And then he moved to Paris, but all the time he lived in Paris, he had a close relationship with the city. He came visiting many times, and most people judged him because he was living in Europe and he like was detached from his city. But he wrote so much about Buenos Aires that he always used to say that he never stopped being in Buenos Aires or feeling he belonged to the city. And this book is about the relationship he had with Buenos Aires, the capital city of Argentina. And it's a great book because most of us know how his story went, and it's all connected to historical events and the publishing of his books, and it's really interesting. And well, I'm not going to read passages because it's in Spanish. I'm not sure this book is translated into other languages, but if you speak Spanish, you read Spanish, and you like Cortázar, I think you will love this book. The funny thing, or the curious thing, is that I haven't read his work. I only read 1 or 2 short stories, but I find myself now and again more interested in the lives of some writers more than their work. I had to stop the film because I got a sneezing attack. And well, I can't remember where I left, but I just want to recommend this book. And I don't know if it is translated in other languages, but in Spanish it's available. The publisher is Six Barrel, and I really enjoyed it. And I felt really, I don't know if connected is the word, but identified with him, even though I haven't read any of his work and I only got to the first third of Rayuela, but the interest is there, and I know I will read more about him because I bought another book about his life. Those were the books I read between December and March. If you've read any of them, I'd love to know what your thoughts were, and if you have any recommendations and suggestions, and anything you want to share with me and the rest of the viewers. And hope you like the video. Sorry for the mistakes. Well, that's it. My cat is meowing, so it's time to go. I hope you had a lovely Easter weekend, and we'll see you soon in another video. Goodbye.